Well, the diplomatic build-up continues ahead of Sunday's referendum in Crimea on whether it wants to become part of Russia. As we were mentioning, the American Secretary of State, John Kerry, has landed in London. He's going to be meeting with his Russian counterpart pretty soon, I would imagine. It's 8:14 here in the morning. And that'll be the last opportunity for face-to-face talks before Sunday.
Well, the United States and the European Union have already said they'll respond with a serious series of steps if the referendum goes ahead. Let's go now live to Brussels and speak to the Ukrainian ambassador to the EU, Kostiantyn Yelisieiev. Welcome to the programme, sir.
Yes, good morning. Thank you.
Can you shed more light on these serious series of steps that the European Union will have agreed on with the United States?
Yes, indeed. We expect that the European Union will react swiftly, promptly and resolutely. And we are looking forward the upcoming Foreign Affairs Council meeting to take place next Monday. And we expect that the European Union will agree on a set of sanctions measures which would clearly show to our Russian colleagues that they need to feel a certain responsibility and need to feel consequences of their aggressive behavior vis-a-vis territorial integrity of Ukraine.
Mr. Yelisieiev, these measures that you're talking about and these consequences that you're talking about will not just hurt Russia, it will also hurt the EU, and consequently it will also hurt Ukraine. How can you make sure that these steps are effective, one, and two, are able to stop Russia from carrying on with this referendum? We're talking about 2 days before this referendum goes ahead.
Well, first of all, we are still hoping that we will manage to settle this situation by political and diplomatic means. First of all, secondly, we need, in my view, the biggest asset is to manifest, is to demonstrate the unity of the whole international community, in particular of the European Union. We need to show to our Russian partner that they are isolated and they need to do something with a view to step back.
Do you really think that can be achieved in the next 48 hours?
It is not, in my view, late, and we do hope very much that something or miracle could happen.
So it would take a miracle.
Yes, indeed. But at any rate, we need to continue our joint efforts and pressure on the Russian authorities to come back to the peaceful, negotiated.
Mr. Yelisieiev, if I'm someone in Crimea at the moment or in the East who is witnessing ongoing tensions and ongoing violence, and hear you say that it will take a miracle for Russia to change their views, that to me translates that the EU and the Ukrainian authorities are completely powerless in the face of what's happening now.
We are not powerless. We are trying to be resolute and to demonstrate the wise and very smart approach, because we don't want to use the tactics tit for tat. We would like to use the peaceful means provided by the United Nations Charter and so on.
Do you believe that you can stop this referendum from happening?
Very difficult question. Very difficult question. At this point of time, I would refrain from any kind of forecasts.
So you're pessimistic?
I'm realistic, and at the same time, we call upon the Russian authorities to stop conducting this referendum, which will only bring additional confrontation in Crimea, and which will provoke further instability in this peninsula.
Mr. Yelisieiev, if the referendum goes ahead, which all signs say that it would, and the vote is yes to joining Russia, and Crimea then becomes part of Russia, what will happen next?
But first of all, I wouldn't call it referendum. This is a parody. This is so-called referendum. You cannot imagine referendum to take place under the gunpoint, number one. Secondly, this is illegal step because it contradicts to all bilateral agreements and to the constitution of Ukraine. That's why, at any rate, Ukraine and as well as the European community, international community, would not recognize the result of this referendum because Crimea was, is, and will be the integral part of Ukrainian territory.
Mr. Yelisieiev, thank you so much. Kostiantyn Yelisieiev, their Ukrainian ambassador to the EU.
Now, there is an article that I think is worth reading at bbcnews.com. Perhaps you've heard that interview. Maybe you have some more questions about the legality. It's fascinating,
Yes.
that last part that he was speaking about. And appropriately titled, Is Crimea's Referendum Legal? Is the name of the article I'm mentioning. I'm going to tweet it, and Shaima will too, and you can have a read. It's everything about why it's been held. We heard a little there, but what will people see on the ballot? Everything about whether there'll be observers. So well worth a look, and also some maps kind of to help you understand the story even more. It is a complex one. You are listening to Newsday on the BBC World Service.